recording seems. Here we go. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the India Cloud Security Summit 2021. Our next session is presented by Shantha Babu, and the topic is the significance of Azure ML security. So welcome and take it away.
Yeah, shall I start?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening as well. So I'm not sure like how many people there from different location. So let's start with my presentations now. So thanks for the sponsors and the opportunity to share my knowledge over here. So let's kickstart. And so I think the sessions like started today morning. So we had like the excellent the winning price, existing prices are there, so that so I believe lots of people across the globe, so they have joined and they're given the feedback. So there is chances to win the prizes. That's a good thing. And here I want to already have said like the thanks to all the things, and the major focus on this event is a major area. So I'm going to be in the Microsoft Azure stuff. So eliminating hunger is really very important for as a human, not only human being, for it's applicable for any living species in this world. So specifically like, so as a human being, so we need to share our food, clothes, whatever the possible things with the required people. So there are people, they want food, they're deliberately waiting for from the others. So please contribute to this website like UBEL Foundation. So they're organized the small piece of works to share that your possible amount. Okay, so link has been provided here. So just you can go and share your contribution. Thank you. So I'm Shantha Babu Pandian. So I've had around 19 plus years of experience in the IT industry. I'm taking care of the data analytics and Azure data architect, and as well as data science program. And then, so basically I'm a speaker and a trainer for a specific domain. And I used to write a blogger. I have more my own blog as well. And I have my YouTube channel. And apart from that, I'm writing for other blogs, Data Central Science and Analytics with Alia Tours, and few more. Okay. So the topic, as I mentioned earlier, it's Azure ML security and its significance. Okay. So this one very important and topic. Now we are in AML. So these are the agenda. So I've articulated a design for this 50 minutes session, which is given to me. So let's try to cover within the stipulated timeline. Okay. So here we're going to discuss about the security in information technology and cloud computing and the challenges, security and privacy of the cloud, and what exactly the machine learning and in Azure machine learning lifecycle. Sorry, I'm intended to word like this way, and responsible for the machine learning and Azure machine learning architecture point of view, and Azure security, enterprise security, as well as data and encryption way. Okay, so I'll tell you why I included all these points over here, so that once we'll walk through the slides, you can understand the better. Okay, so the security aspects, actually the event which is called like the Cloud Security Summit, right? So that we need to start with the security aspects. So in earlier days, so before cloud coming into the picture, so even those days as well, actually we are coming up with the security aspects. We used to give the application point of view, infrastructure point of view, and vulnerability point of view, and disaster recovery. Once the cloud pitching, so obviously we need to take care of the cloud security. And recent years, there are so many customers and organizations that are moving towards the cloud. All right. So, and even one step further, what we have done with that, the security in information technology earlier and then now. Application point of view, so we used to protect our application and APIs and prevent and detect the security violence, and we need to fix that one. And infrastructure point of view, so we used to protect the infrastructure components and including with the network, server, client devices, and a data center. So data center is a very important one because so we used to store all the data over there. Recent, I would say like last 10 years back, so we never gone with like the cloud, but now we are almost without cloud, we are not doing anything because we have a SaaS, PaaS, as so many things are there. So once the cloud into the picture, so we need to build up the cloud security. This is very similar because actually, obviously, we are migrated our application and data into the cloud. So nothing different, but earlier it was within our data center. Now all the data and my application in third party. That is nothing but the cloud provider. Okay, so that is the responsible between the two groups. Let's discuss that one. So when I look at this one, enterprises point of view security is required to secure the organization, employee, and customer related data and the privacy and based on the law. And internationally, most of the companies, as I mentioned earlier, they are moved in towards the cloud, and they're doing a lot of funding towards that because they save the costs, maintenance cost, and they enhance their business and availability of the system across the globe. And same time, they want to save their the data from the hackers. That's very important thing, right? So that's the reason we need the enterprises security. Means like it could be application, it could be your database data center, it could be your network, it could be your network components, it could be devices, entire thing, holistic. And why this enterprise security is important? This is basically to trust their customers and ensure the data is always private and secure. And one step further, cloud computing coming to the picture. So as I mentioned earlier again, the cloud computing is the on-demand availability of the computer system resource, and especially to store the data and improving the compute powering without direct active management by the customer organization. But here, the cloud computing in the organization adapting the cloud computing, there is a security running behind that is very important thing, because actually it could be a security and privacy, and the performance wise there could be issues, and availability and interpretability and portability. So all these things are challenges with respect to the cloud, but specifically focused to this one is a security and privacy. The first and foremost thing, the challenges in the cloud computing is the data stored in the cloud. It must secure and provide full confidentiality to our customer. That's very important. That is a first thumb rule. And second one, the customer should rely on the cloud provider so much on this because they are relying on them and they're providing all the data make available in the cloud. Ultimately, the cloud provider should take the necessary security measures and secure the data for the customer and maintain the creditability. That's very important, isn't it? And the last one, not least, that's very important. The both parties should have the proper handshake to make the business to drive successfully. Because if the customer giving the leakage of their credentials outside the world, so the cloud provider cannot do anything. So these are both hands to shake properly so that the team can run the business successfully. Good. So far, actually, we discussed about what exactly the security point of view in IT industry, and slowly we're moving into cloud, and what is the necessity of that enterprise architecture point of view, right? And now the Azure ML, how it's correlated with that one. That's very important. Okay. So before we touch bases with my the Azure machine learning security point of view, just touch bases with what exactly the cloud machine learning. I think most of the is a jargon and the new buzzword in the world, the AML, and the point of view like artificial intelligence and the machine learning. The machine learning, you can have it in a different form of that. Since the data is very huge, obviously we need to demonstrate on the cloud. That's the reason the most of the cloud provider, they started giving the provisioning to do the demonstration for ML in the cloud space. So Microsoft, they're given a fantastic environment to run this machine learning on the cloud, accelerating and managing the machine learning lifecycle in an excellent way by providing multiple components, so that the machine learning engineers, the data scientists, and engineers can use the day-to-day activity in very easy way, straightforward. So even we have Microsoft Lab services, so many flavors we have. So by using those things, they can play around with that in very quick span of time, right? So here, this is a simple model. If you go any implementation of our Azure machine learning, we have to have the preparation of the data and build the train model and deploy and predict. You can ask me why you want to discuss all the things over here. Yes, of course. We need to implement security aspects right from the preparation of the data. That's very important. And same time, building and train the model as well, we need to implement the security aspects and deployment and predict as well, right? So after the production, move into the production, that model, so the machine learning ops team will take care of all those things, and the most of the challenges will go to them, because by that time only the security aspects, the hackers, the data, taking the data, all those things will happen when we are deploying in the production. This is a very high level life cycle. So we used to take the data from SQL or Cosmos DB, or it could be any file folder. Sometimes it could be on premises. Sometimes it could be like from streaming data, or for sometimes it could be like a stored data. So whatever it is, we'll take the data, build and train the models, validate the model, and deploy the model and monitoring the model. So across all this platform, the security things has been underlined. If you talk about like a security point of view, ML, it's a vast area and it's keep on going. Still, there is a lot of things to explore. Let's see quickly what exactly the machine learning guys are doing with respect to data encryption or data storage and preparing that workspace and all quickly. Okay. So is the machine learning is responsible for protecting your data and environment? Yeah, of course, because it has a major thing to understand. Understand point of view is nothing but this is not actually focused for this specific session. But anyway, the machine learning should understand what exactly the output is supposed to be, the insight of the data, and in the same way it want to control the end-to-end machine learning process, and predominantly to protect the customer data and maintain the differential privacy work with encrypted data using encryption, different encryption techniques. That is a very, very important. So machine learning, building the machine learning, it's not escaping from giving a security to the system, because other than the normal application, if you are building the model, there only the data population is very huge. Okay, right. And here, just quick stuff here. Basically, what we can do generally in deploying the development things. So they used to implement the differential privacy. Differential privacy is a techniques kind of adding the noise, and the data can be like encrypted such a way so that internally the machine learning algorithm and other things will able to understand what exactly, but for the normal human being, like, so we cannot see that what exactly you need. That's very challenging one. But when implementing the noise and randomness data, it's a really highly critical, because something happened to the data, so we lost the data. So this is available, and then we have open source packages. Straight away we can import that, you can play around with that. Okay, that is homomorphic encryption models, which is available. So directly we can import in a Python environment, you can play around with that. But with respect to Azure machine learning architecture, they are giving a complete core how to build the workspace along with the secured one, right? So this is a quick overview of Azure machine learning architecture. So in which we have left-hand side, we have a data source and compute targets. So we have a centralized one is a workspace, and then we have the managed resource, nothing but the compute instance and compute clusters. There only we used to compute all the data, training of the model. And we have the assets. It's going to be an experiment, pipeline, data set, model, etc. and endpoint. So why I'm telling this one, when we are making workspace, we have to create secured one, then only the entire the components which are available inside that the your machine learning build model, so it will be going to be an effective one. So here there are so many things are that, but I don't want to go through everything because of the time. So workspace is a top level resource for Azure ML and centralized place to all the components and manage the resource and store, what I said earlier. So here we are going to give the first and foremost thing, we are going to give the secured one for the workspace, right? Cool. So we have the fantastic 8 steps to create what is that? The secured workspace in Azure ML. That is a Microsoft providing a simple steps. Actually, if you go through that, all the procedure, it's a vast and there are so many steps we have to follow. But just for the time constraint, so I brought all the inputs over here for easy understanding. So basically, if you guys are familiar with the Azure network, so we used to go ahead with that. So first step as a first step to secure the communication between services in the virtual network. And then as a second step, we have to have the Azure storage account, because in machine learning model, most of the time we are going to play around with the multiple data. It's going to be like a blob or any other files. It would be as structured data or unstructured data, whatever it is. So obviously we need to store the data. Then we are going for storage devices, Azure storage. So we need to have the Azure storage account. So we need to get ready with that. Okay. And then Azure Key Wallet. This is for security point of view, you know very well. So that we need to create that. So we need to get rid of that. And create Azure Container Registry. This is a service used for repository of Docker images. Because when you're doing your training and validating your model, so obviously we need specific services for Docker perspective. And then we need to create Azure Machine Learning Workspace. And then followed by that, so we have to have that Azure virtual machine, that's a VM machine, need to be behind the our Azure virtual network. So altogether combined, and finally we can tie up with all the stuff. Then we can go ahead and build our model, pulling the data from our storage device, and we can play around with that. Okay, this is the very high level stuff, because the workspace is the first and foremost things we need to get started with that. And enterprise security point of view, the Azure ML provides specifically like the ML ops team, they used to play around with that, restricted access to the user group. That's a very important. After the development we put into the production, so we need to think about, and we have to take care of that configuration management point of view, what exactly the restrictions we have to provide, and we have to carefully understand like who can access, who should access, and what are the privileges for them. So restriction access and encrypting the data. It's a very important, because the encryption is a very key way over here. And the other things, restricted network communication and scalability auditing and all, like I could say like it's a comparing with the first two one, it's a low priority. So let's discuss about this one. This is a simple sequence diagram. Probably if you're familiar with the sequence diagram. So once the client asking and giving a login, and the client is signing into the Azure AD and gets the Azure Resource Manager token. And then once it's successfully completed, the client presents the token to the Azure Resource Manager and all other Azure Machine Learning resources. So the entire thing, like we have already the other components in Azure portal. We have so many components over there, right? When I look at it in 10 years back, there was 3 or 4 components. 2009 or 10, when we started doing our migration and Azure implementation, hardly we have very few components. But when I look at here nowadays, there is a vast and so many things are available, right? So the machine learning resources, we have a separate component, and then accessing to that, and the ML provides the ML service token to the user, additional inputs, additional security aspects, and then the client can access and they can upload the data and they can find out the outcome of the model. So all together they can demonstrate. So based on the restriction level, they can find out that. Okay, that's very important thing. And coming to that, secure the data access in Azure ML. How it is possible? So Azure ML makes it easy to connect the data on the cloud, because already we have a complete different layers on that, and straight away we can connect from the Azure ML, because we have Azure Data Factory, we have Azure Blob Storage, we have Azure SQL, so many things where we have. So by using that, straight away connect the data and get the data into our model. That's the core area. They are used to demonstrate our Azure Databricks model, other stuff. Even we have experiment, we have Azure ML experiment. So there's so many things are there, so we can get the data over there. So here, the machine learning provides the very important capability with respect to the security. I would say data drift monitoring, because when the model is running, if you're feeding the data, irrelevant data or any other data, unnecessary data, you can feel that the model will be collapsed, or maybe a performance of or the accuracy of the model will be destroyed. So we need to think about, like, we need to monitor the data drift monitoring by using that, so we can understand how the data is flowing and how the data is like playing, or how the model is playing out with the data and what is the outcome. So all the things we can play around with that. But in the Spark and Pandas, it's a data framework, they have its own security models, but I don't want to discuss here now. So that's very important thing. And apart from that, there are other few other things are there, but so due to the time, yeah, so time constraints, I'll go with a small pack of things. So this is going to be a secure data model. So in which, if you look at that, so need to create ML data store to store the connection information to your Azure storage, right? Obviously, your Azure storage is connected with your ADD, and it comes around along with your complete Azure resources. So then we need to create the Azure machine learning data set to point the specific files, underlying the storage. So in this is nothing but our storage area. This is already, we are given a proper user. Those who want to use the specific the files, either can be deploy the file or import the file or export the file, whatever it is. So here we have a log, and again we have a data store, and data store is created data set for specific model, and the specific model we are feeding the data set. So here we are monitoring, like we have this are the steps which is available in machine learning model. Training the script will run the script on top of the data set, and it could be sometime automated machine learning things need to be like doing hyperparameter tuning or any other featureization. So many things will take care by the ML model and the pipeline, all those things. So is there any major drift? Actually, the monitor model performance with the drift is a very important key area. That's what I mentioned earlier. In the context of the ML, the data drift is the change in the model input and lead to the model performance degradation. So we have to take care of that. So from that, we can understand, is there any vulnerability data coming into the picture or not? So we can monitor with the help of this monitoring model performance with the data drift. Okay, so it is one of the top reason the model accuracy degrades over the time. So monitoring data drift helps to detect the model performance issues. So ultimately, the data coming into our system, and we need to find out whether we are getting the appropriate data, secured data to our model or not. That is very, very important key factor. So by using that, so we can go ahead on the model deployment and model. If you sometime actually there might be challenges. The data itself, there couldn't be any vulnerability. There couldn't be any issues. Data as a data will come into the model might be in different field. By the time we have to go back and change the model and all, that is different aspects. Okay, that also would be there. Right, and the data encryption. Data encryption is very important because actually even so we used to do a lot of encryption, data encryption in a normal application model and all. But even in Azure, so we have a variety of data storage services and encryption in transit and encryption at rest. There are two things flavors are there. As I mentioned earlier, transit and at the rest is nothing but when we are taking the data from the sources. It could be here for your quick reference. Yeah, here. This is going to be, we are going to make all the transition over here. Here the transformation, we are happening futurization. Yeah, so here we can do all the things, right? And we have to do all this, the hyperparameter tuning, model validation, etc. here. So when I doing my encryption, data encryption point of view, encryption in transit and encryption at rest. That's very important. Generally, when we are building your workspace is a base core, as I mentioned, right? So workspace is a base. On top of that, we're building all the model, all the components for your ML, Azure ML, and then we are playing around with that, isn't it? But when you're thinking, you are going to play with the business high impact data means we have to highlight the flag. There are so many configurations are there, but for 50 minutes discussion, so I thought like it will be really help to understand something for takeaway from this session. So that's the reason I pulled this specific point and I'm just sharing with you guys. So the high business impact is a simple flag when you are sitting, when you're creating your workspace. So that will be fixed. That's it. That's a rigid one. You cannot change it later because you are mentioning you are going to create what workspace. On top of that, you are going to all the components. It could be experiment, it could be environment, it could be a data set, it could be a train and model, and it could be a compute, and it could be a data store, whatever it is. Altogether, it's going to be completely sensitive thing, and individual components, it has their own security model implementation. So when you're creating the workspace, we are mentioning like virtual network, so that the completely is packed, and top of that we are using ADD and valid keys and so many things, right? And internally ML we have like Azure ML token. These things actually gives the complete weightage to our model because we are playing around with a huge amount of data and we are predicting something sensitive for business to run, right? If you look at the other application, yes, of course, that is also very important because actually, is there any data leakage or anything we have to take care? But here, when you're playing around with modeling, data model, basically prediction, recommendation system, or it could be a sentiment analysis, whatever it is, the data, if the data might be, for example, I'm launching some product and I'll try to make like whether the product is running good or bad on the floor. So the data is very important. So when I'm running that one model, if something vulnerability data or any other like the unethical access to the system, obviously the data feed by the hackers, the entire model will collapse, isn't it? If the application is totally different, because actually if you're feeding the data some vulnerable data, if you're feeding into the system, quickly you cannot find out that because actually the data will go to your database or server after you are doing some calculation, after preparing some report, then only it will be visible. And sometimes the data might be completely corrupted. You cannot find out what exactly inside the database, data center database. But when you talk about the ML, that's a very important thing. If somebody is feeling that like unethical data or any other things and unauthorized access to the system, the model system, what will happen? The entire flow will be collapsed, because actually building the machine modeling is not a simple job, because we are finding the insight of the data. That is very, very important. We will try to understand that, very important. And apart from the security, and before we are building that, when we are building the model, we have a lot of challenges to build the model based on the given data set. By the time when the data is really good, we need to analyze multiple algorithm used to call. So by using that, we build the model and we'll put it to the production. Something happened to that data feeding into that system. All the effort which is given by the entire team will be gone down in a fraction of a second, because the model is always monitoring and the model output always we are getting that. It could be the recommendation system. For example, if you're doing online purchasing in Amazon or Flipkart or whatever it is, so if you're looking some product, underneath you will get all the recommended products. So something a data, unnecessary data, or like unsecured data, or the person who is feeding the unnecessary data into the system, what will happen? The recommendation will be in different way, right? The same way the product which I launched in the market, if it is going good, but somebody is like unwantedly they want to feed some data like somewhere from that the loophole, that's it. My product creditability, my product performance, everything like in the market will gone down, right? So that's very, very important thing. And general security advice to the best practices point of view. So we have to raise the support ticket for enabling the encryption of the scratch, the disk and compute clusters. This is specifically to the developers. And for example, if I'm Ops ML team, I want to do some supporting my model, then I need to create like something, the new data arrived, it's a stored data. So there are a bunch of data which is which is exported from the external party, a validated party, and their sensible party. So I want to take the data. Before that, we need to create a proper support ticket. I need to register that. Then we have a record on that, so that after that taking that, then I can feed the system into that appropriately. Yes, just go ahead this bulk and just go ahead this file. Okay, check. So that once it's approved, I can upload that file, or else I can run my job. I can automate my job such a way. Okay. And cleaning up the local scratches just between the runs, that's very important. For example, if I'm running one set of data and again I'm running the different set of data, we need to do the different types of data cleaning up. That's very important, because actually the system will start training the same set of model, it looking for same kind of feed, right? That's very important. So that's the reason actually we used to build a multiple model, because the data will feeding to the system will be maybe differ. So based on that data, the different model will play and it will give the output, right? And we have other security things as well. And this is the last one slide, data encryption with the ML. So we have, obviously we need to use Azure Blob Storage, because most of the data storage is going to be very huge, as I mentioned earlier. So when I'm using a machine learning, stores a snapshot, output, a large file in blob storage. So this needs to be account has to be tied up with the machine learning workspace and the subscription, because for a security point of view, right? When you're creating anything like any resource in your Azure, obviously you have to give what is the ADI, what is the key value, all the detail you're supposed to provide, right? So same way, cautiously we have to document all the things. We are going to use blob storage or X, Y, or Z, any components. We have to make sure, yes, I have a subscription. This has been mapped under this resource, and all these are grouped under one family. And this is not whether it's scalable or not. So all the configuration we used to give it. Same way, we have to make sure that specific thing has been tied up with the machine learning workspace and subscription. That's very, very important. And same thing, the data stored in the Azure block is encrypted at rest. After the data manipulating, after data wrangling, all this stuff, the data is feeding into the system. So by the time the core data will be available, but in the machine learning life cycle, we have so many stages. That is one of the things, actually cleaning the data, wrangling the data, and featureization, and so many things we need to do on top of the data set, isn't it? So after that, only we are feeding the data into the system. So even that time, actually, if you're implementing the encryption technique, so that it will be really help. Okay, and the same way for Cosmos, no other go, right? And Cosmos, like the data stored in the Cosmos, will be encrypted at the rest and with the Microsoft managed keys. The Azure Databricks, this is the core where we used to do all the demonstration, do all the things, and this is a kind of like a DBFS. That's a Databricks file system. Which is a completely strong and is a very important thing, like across any Google provider, any cloud provider across, they used to have a collaboration with Azure Databricks. So in our Microsoft, we have Azure Databricks, so you can play around with that. Even that also do that encryption using Microsoft managed key model. Okay, so apart from that, we have so many security baseline for the Azure ML, network security, identity management, access management, backup recovery, logging, threat detection, and the governance and strategy, data protection, privileged access, and posture and vulnerability management, endpoint security. There are so many things even I need to map, because actually whenever actually the customer is looking for some set of things, then only we go and explore that. Otherwise, that specific R&D will take us to somewhere else, right? So these are the available baseline security for Azure ML. So I think I'm done with that. So I quit. So I have still 20 more minutes. Any questions? Anything, please?
Don't see any questions in the chat right now. I did post the form. If anybody wants to enter the session code in, but we can wait a few minutes and see if anything comes up.
Sure.
In the meantime, could you share the session code for the audience?
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. I'll minimize. Okay.
No worries.
Yeah.
We have a comment in the chat asking if you can please share your thoughts on ethical AI.
That. Let me see that. Yeah, ethical AI actually it's a case by case different. Okay, so if you are working with if you're implementing some AI specific to pharma industry, they have some set of ethics. That's very important. There is no standard guidelines. Okay, that's very important thing, because these things actually it's case by case. If you are going to have like the manufacturing industry, they have some set of rules and ethical things, like when you're doing the model building that AI in that manufacturing industry, or if you're going to build anything for healthcare, that's a very sensitive area. We have to be like, we have a set of rules and regulations. So based on that, we have to sign up with the customer saying that, hey, I'm going to implement the AI for you. I'm going to do everything. No, it's not a case. So generally, we cannot go and take everything all the data and everything we will put in the feed into the data, feed into our model. For example, I can give a classic example. So when I'm doing some analysis, that could be a patient's name and their mobile number or phone number or email ID, whatever it is. So we shouldn't take it forward into our when we're playing around the data. That's very important, because actually in GDPR point of view, in Europe and UK, they are implementing that one. Okay, so that's very important with that specific model. So we have to restrict the data where it is coming from. That is very, very important. So that's very, very important. So to cut short that the data which is flooding from the external resource, right? That's what I mentioned. The two-way is a customer as well as the vendor. We have to have the proper appropriate handshake. Then only so we can bring the more effective and collaborative work. So ethical point of view, if you say it's a case by case and domain by domain, it's totally different. They have some set of rules, and healthcare industries and pharma industries are very, very critical. If any data like without the proper sign off from the customer taking into the analysis, that will be really dangerous for what is that? As a legal aspects, I'm telling you. Okay. I heard Cosmo DB is very dangerous, but the perspective of the purpose of Cosmo DB is totally different. But most of the time, when we are playing around with Azure ML, basically we'll go with data warehousing, SQL data warehouse, or like Azure Synergy, or else Azure scalable SQL server, or it could be Azure blob storage. So we used to go ahead with that. It's not a harm, but Cosmos DB, it's like there are the fantastic options are there. For every component, we have a plus or minus. So we cannot declare Cosmos DB is very dangerous, something like that. So that's again, it's going to be like how we are using, how we are doing configuration and security. I don't like what way is dangerous. Let me check that URL, and I'll get the knowledge on that. Yeah. Yeah. So Jansi asked, like, how far is the data security reliable in Azure ML? Yeah, that's what I said. See, this is actually the data security point of view. We have to have the appropriate way. That's very important. That's what actually I mentioned, right? Data security, we need to encrypt the data and play around with that. So when you are playing around with a simple or a very, very low level data set, when you are learning your ML model, straight away you're feeding the data, you can play around with that. But when it's going to be a very high level building the model, by the time we have to be very careful about the data security. So by the time when you feed in the data, as I mentioned, right, differential differential one, what is that? 1 minute. Yeah, the differential point of view. 1 minute. Quickly I'll recollect that word. Sorry about that. Yeah. See, when we are going with the differential privacy, when you're enabling the differential privacy concept, then ultimately you can give the appropriate security. But those things are really dangerous, and we have some their own point of view. Doing the encryption and decryption model is very important thing. So what they will do, they will encrypt the data and feed into the model. The model can understand what exactly, and then they'll do the process, and finally it'll give the prediction and accuracy, whatever it is, it will give the feedback. That's it. So you don't bother about that. Once we implemented all those the data security aspects, what I mentioned, And top of that, the last slide which talks about the complete available what is that? The baseline for security aspects, the baseline for ML. If you started implementing one by one, that's not a simple. That's not at all simple. So all the things actually, I think, would be around 10 baseline, which is recommended. Each and every layer they have identity management. It could be privacy thing and vulnerability and again the network perspective. There are so many things are there. But if I started implementing, but base model will implement and base security level implement. But at this moment, they have a products in market that that model actually build and it's available. But honestly telling, the most of the organization they're moving towards the AML recently. It's still in incubation, so they're trying to do that. But now itself they've identified there are so many things, things actually we have to wrap it up on top of the model and put into the deployment model. Okay, so it's like the data security. There are so many things there. Like a reliable point of view, of course, that's what I said. Based on the agreement, we can go ahead for the implementation. How do you handle the sensitive data? That's what actually I mentioned. Sensitive data, so we can encrypt or decrypt, and one step further. For example, if I want to go ahead and deploying something, I shouldn't get that is a basic policy. GDPR policies are actually, we have a GDPR policies with respect to UK and Europe, because based on my experience, I'm telling. So when I look at that, there have some context way, like they have written the rules. These are the things we need to pick it up. These are things we need to avoid. So as a developer, what we used to do, restrict all the data, right, coming into my pool. So the same way, I will ask them to stop all the data so that we will be both are safe. So that aspects only we need to handle that sensitive data very importantly with respect to not only for ML. This is applicable for analytics as well. When you're doing a data analytics by using any Power BI or Tableau, whatever any model, right? There also we have a transit, we have a ETL model and all. So there also we have to handle the sensitive data differently, right? But when coming to the picture, no other go boss. So I want to handle this pin to the encryption management key. There are a lot of encryption techniques are there with respect to Microsoft cloud-based one. So we can apply those things on top of the data. So the data going to be in different visualization. You cannot understand, but the system will understand what exactly is it. So that way you can handle. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? We have 12 more minutes. Definitely not none. Ravindran, see the best practices implementation. So first of all, actually, when you're doing the project estimation, right? When you're doing the project estimation for ML, that will take more than a year. Could be, I'm telling you, it could be a very minimum year, because when you want to implement the machine learning model, might be I need 5 years data, right? So we made a 5 years data. So we take the data, we need to clean up the data. We have to do a lot of things, because before doing that, what is that? The security aspects implementation. First of all, we want to build the building. For example, you are going to construct your villa, right? So you need to plan for what? How much square feet you are going to build the building, and what is going to be how many bedrooms and kitchen and your restrooms, and it's going to have a balcony, or else you're going to be any terrace, and you're going to be a multi-flory or single-flory, and the spaces for car parking. So you need to design all the aspects. Then we'll put the compound wall. Then we need to bring up the what? CCTV camera or human, what is that? The personal security. So many things. So during that project plan, so certainly in any project, they'll go for security aspect first thing. When they will do, no, after the completion, they will for the testing. They will for like unit test. We used to do the unit testing, system testing, integration testing, and then they'll go for the pen testing. That's a penetration testing we used to say, right? So there only we have to allocate a separate timeline for implementing these kind of best practices, because the customer want my product online, my product supposed to be here. Then they will say, yes, I need overcoat, I need bulletproof, I need a security guard, so I need a bulletproof shield in front of me. So they used to implement one by one, right? And sometime after that data has been impacted, they'll ask us to, hey, the data has been going different wrong. Is there any issues in the system? Go and check that. So we have a drift and so many options are there. Based on that, so we can implement what is that? So we can implement all these best practices when you are doing that. But basically, we have some set of rules. Straight away, we cannot go and do that. So basically, for example, coding standards. If you're writing the coding standards, writing a Java program, a .NET program, whatever it is, what you used to do? You used to go and do some best practices point of view, build the commands, and your query needs to be fine-tuned, and the store procedure is supposed to be like never using like a multiple joins and something like that. The same way here also we have to use so many things. That's a very, very important point. Definitely we can have that included in the schedule, but we cannot implement the entire thing. Otherwise, we need to have the separate project which is called security and governance point of view. We need to prepare the project plan to give the patches on top of the product. That's way generally they first build that model and go to the production pre-prod, and then they'll started implementing all the what is that security aspects patches they will give. But basic thing, definitely when we're building the model, we have to give. That's very important thing. Okay, one more question. So will this Azure ML security will be cost effective, and what is the size of the company can implement this? This is mandatory. That's what, again, sometime the customer, nobody will care about, hey, I don't want security under, but they will care. So based on that model, for example, if healthcare industries and pharma industries, again, they're very sensitive data. So they ready to invest the cost to specifically to bring up this all the repo on top of your model. Okay, so definitely they will add that component when they're doing estimation. That's very important. Okay, for small company, they want to implement, might be their expectation or their the traffic for that specific model might be very low. If you take like Amazon, the implementation for security aspects is very huge. Even they have a separate 100-member of team. They are working for implementation of ML model. Okay, and if you go take for the Walmart or Tesco or whoever they're implementing, they want to have that more security in the system. Not only for Azure ML, it's going to be a normal application. If they want to implement the security aspects, they'll invest, but not straight away immediately. So after some time, they will identify there might be some hackers attacking their system. By that time, they'll bring all the model, but basically they'll put some repo. For example, if I'm buying some book, I'll put like brown sheet on top of that. Or else what I will do, if it is going to damage, I'm going to bind that, right? And sometimes some people, they never bind or never put like brown sheet or any cover on top of the books. They will started using that. So it may damage or may not damage based on the usage. Okay. Yeah. 6 more minutes.
Yeah. I just wanted to jump on and thank you for your time. It was a really informative presentation. I'm going to turn off the recording but
Okay.
you can continue having the conversations with the audience.
Sure, definitely. Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you
Jason.
very much.
Take care. Bye. Have a nice day.
You too.